Hey, it's Cat's CarCast. Look, need to be honest, going to be a little ad hoc today, but I think it's going to be spectacular anyway, so let's drive.
Get down. Get down. Get down.
Okay, you know what? I am going to spin this into something that's fantastic. That's my objective here. What do you think about that? You be the judge. Set out to do this every day in August, and we're approaching the end. And my planned topic was going to be a little bit more involved. And long story short, I'm not going to do the planned topic because I didn't have time to create that involved idea. But here's the beauty of what I am going to talk about, and that's the plan that I laid out at the end of July, heading into August. I literally sat down, took all my categories against my editorial calendar, and planned out the month. So, even though the remainder of my topics that are on the calendar are a little beyond what I'm able to produce like that, okay, now this takes a whole lot of effort, but they just weren't clicking with me. I went to my Evernote. I store all my ideas in Evernote, and I immediately found one that was accessible, and ironically, it has to do with planning. So here's the point of this. There's two very important points. First, if you are going to be serious about your media, and this is just my experience, it works for me. Hopefully it'll work for you, okay? But if you're going to be serious about your media production, there needs to be at least some level of planning. And that has to happen at least two layers. One, and maybe more, stick with me, I haven't counted them. Like I said, a little ad hoc, right? Ad hoc. A little ad hoc. So a couple of layers. First is the narrative and the story, right? If you don't have that down, I would suggest start there. What is the thing that you're communicating against, okay? Secondly, and this is again how I like to do it, like what's the month look like? What are the big things happening over the course of your month that you can kind of connect to, extrapolate, expand upon a little bit, leverage, align? You want to use the word juxtapose? I'd even throw juxtapose in there. Sidebar, I learned juxtapose in 8th grade when it was on the PSATs. I don't even know if you do PSATs anymore, but that's where I learned. Line up against, whatever word you want to use. So those two things, right? What's the greater story that you're trying to accomplish and tell here? And then how are you going to discuss it over the course of a month? A month is a great unit of time, great unit of measurement. Now, by the way, you want to produce more, so that gives you quality, quantity at the same stroke, right? One idea there. So let's set that aside. The second thing is, now look, I'm going to make a bold assumption here. I'm going to assume no matter how big your company is, large or small, whether it's just you or whether you're part of, as I like to say, a multi-billion-dollar global conglomerate of some sort, that selling stuff, more stuff, is important in some way, shape, or form, okay? I know it's crazy, right? But let's just assume that that's true. Well, here's the next step, and the most important thing is line it up some way in which you could connect it to your sales process. Is the demand generation and the marketing and the networking and the network development important? Absolutely, okay? But I would argue that if I align it towards my sales process first, I could reverse engineer that back to my networking, my awareness, my demand generation, okay? So there you go, those two things. And if you don't have them planned out or mapped out, you're never going to be able to identify where you can get better at those things, where you need to course correct, where you need to double down and invest, okay? So that's it. I'm happy with it. I'm happy, okay? I think this went well. I think it went well. See you next time. Critical component of the CarCast where you and I have an intimate conversation about, I'm sure whether or not you enjoy the CarCast, but I'm going to make another bold assumption that I think you like the CarCast because you've arrived right here, at this point, right here, right now. Don't deny yourself more rides in the CarCast. Come on over and subscribe. Like this one, and we're both happy. See you next time.